All right, here we go. I'm waiting for the grumpy old guy. It's going to be about 40 minutes before he shows up from the train station. All the way from Glendale, California. We're going to do the next chapter in Watership Down. Shitty audiobook done by me and done horribly, as usual. All right. Chapter 26. Fiber Beyond. Fiber laid on the earth floor of the burrow. Outside the downs was still in the intense bright heat of the noon. The dew in the gossamer had dried early from the grass by mid-morning, with flinches had fallen silent. Now along the lonely expanses of worry turf, the air wavered. Jeez. On the footpath that led past the warrant, bright threads of light, watery and mirage, tickled and glittered across the shortest, smoothest grass. Oh, this guy. This is supposed to be a freaking kid's book. What are that, kids in Mensa or something? Okay. From a distance, the trees along the edge of the breech hangar appeared full of great, dense shadows, impenetrable to the dazzled eye. The only sound was the zip, zip of the grasshoppers. The only scent of the warm theme. In the burrow, Fiber slept and woke uneasily through the heat of the day, fidgeting and scratching as the last traces of moisture dried out of the earth above him. Once, when a trickle of powdery soil fell from the roof, he leaped out of sleep, was in the mouth of the run before he came out himself, returned where he had been lying. Each time he woke, he remembered the loss of Hazel, and suffered once more the knowledge that has pierced him as a shadowy, limping rabbit disappearing in the first light of the morning on the down. What's that stink? Whew, I hope it ain't the truck burning up. Jesus. I don't know. Okay. Anyway. Where was that rabbit now? Where had it gone? He began to follow it amongst the tangled paths of his own thoughts over the cold, dew-wet ridge and the down into the dawn mist of the fields below. Okay, so it did this. So he's going down, I guess. The mist swirled around Fiber as he crept through the thistles and the nettles. Now he could no longer see the limping rabbit ahead. He was alone and afraid, and yet perceived an old familiar sounds and smells, those of the field where he was born. The thick weeds of summer were gone. He was under the bare ash brawls, and the flowering blackthorn of March. Okay, so it's happening in March. He crossed the brook, going up the slope towards the lane, towards the place where Hazel and he had come upon the notice board. Well, he must be dreaming or something, right? The notice board thing. Would the board still be there? He looked up timidly up the slope. The view was blotted by mist. As he neared the top, he saw a man busy over a pile of tools. A spade, a rope, smaller implements, the use of which he did not know. You could have a bulldozer there or a pickaxe, for Christ's sakes. The notice board lay flat on the ground. It was smaller than he remembered, and fixed to it a long square post, sharpened at the far end to put in the earth. The surface of the board was white, just as he had seen it before, covered with sharp black lines like sticks. Fiber came hastily up the slope and stopped close to the man, who looked down in the deep, narrow hole sunk in the ground at his feet. The man turned to Fiber with a kind of amiability that of an ogre might show to a victim who they both know that he will kill and eat as soon as it suits him to do so. Okay, this guy's got to be dreaming, or there's this real ogre on Watership Down. Okay. All right. What am I doing, eh? Asked the man. What are you doing? Answered Fiber, staring and twitching in fear. I'm just putting up this here old board, said the man. I suppose you want to know what for, eh? Yes, whispered Fiber. It's for your old easel, said the man. Only where's you see he got put up a bit of notice like on his account. What you reckon to say, eh? Yeah, these guys sound like they're friggin' drunk. These friggin' English guys, man. They sound like they're speaking through a mouthful of marbles. Jesus. God, they invented English. Why can't they speak it? I don't know, said Fiber. How can a board say anything? It's called reading, you fucking clown. Just like this book. Look at all the black sticks on this page. Stupid Fiber. But it do, see? Replied the man. That's where we know you don't. It's why we kills you when we is mind to. Now you want to take a good look at that board, and then very likely you'll know more what you know now. Okay? So not only can't speak English, he's probably drunk. In the livid, foggy twilight, Fiber stared at the board. As he stared, the black sticks flickered on the white surface. They raised their sharp wedge-shaped little heads and clattered about like a nest full of young weasels. The sound, mocking and cruel, came faintly to his ears, as though muffled by sand as sackling. In the memory of Hazel Raw, in the memory of Hazel Raw, in the memory of Hazel Raw. Boris Karloff laugh. Yeah, that's what it says right here. Well, that's what it is, see? Said the man. And I've got this thing up on this here board. It's just say soon I get it stood up proper. Same as you angly up a J like an old stoat, huh? Gonna yell 'em up. No, cried Fiber, you shan't. Only I got 'em, see? Went on the man. That's why I can get it done. I can't hang it up 'cause it's gone down a bloody hole, and that's where it's gone. You've gone down the bloody hole, and just so I got it lined up and all, I can't get it out. Okay, so he can't speak English properly, he's drunk, and he's probably high on something. God damn. Okay. Fiber crept up to the man's boots and peered into the hole. It was circular, cylinder of baked earthenware that disappeared vertically into the ground. Hey, for all you guys that got houses that's built like 100 years ago. They make the sewer drains out of pottery back then. So basically, that's what this hole is about on Watership Dam. He called Hazel. Hazel, far down the hole, something moved, and he was about to call it the man in the bin. Then the man bent down and hit him between the ears. Fiber struggled in the thick cloud of earth, soft and powdery, and someone was saying, "Steady, Fiber, steady." He sat up with the soil in his eyes, his ears and nostrils, but he could not smell. He shook himself and said, Who is that?" "It's Blackberry. I come to see how you weren't." "It's all right. It's a bit of the roof falling, and that's all. There have been falls all over the warren today. It's the heat. Anyway, I woke you from a nightmare, and if I know anything, you were thrashing about calling out for Hazel. Poor old chap. That miserable thing must have happened. We must bear it the best we can. We all got to stop running one day, you know? It says Spriff knows all rabbits. Everyone. "Is it evening?" asked Fiber. "Not yet, no. It's a fair time for a 9, Brit. Holly and the others have come back, you know. Strawberry's very ill. They haven't any doughs with them. Not a one. Everything as bad as it could be. Holly is still asleep. He's completely exhausted. He said he'll tell us what happened this evening. He told us, and when we told him about poor Hazel, he said, Fiber, you're not listening. I expect you rather I keep quiet." "Strawberry," said Fiber. "Do you know where the place where Hazel was shot?" "Yes. Big when I went and looked at the ditch before we came away. But you mustn't. Could you go there with me now?" "Go back there? Oh, no. It's a long way. Fiber? And what be good? The risk and this dreadful heat. You only make yourself wretched." "Hazel isn't dead," said Fiber. "Yes. The men took him away, Fiber. I saw the blood." "Yes, but you didn't see Hazel because he isn't dead, Blackberry. You must do as I ask." "You're asking too much." Blackberry's smart. He says, "You want me to go back down to that shit and have these guys come up back in their hoodoo and fucking blow my fucking ears off? Hell goddamn no." "Hell no. Anyway, then I shall have to go alone. But what I'm asking you is to come and save Hazel's life." When at last Blackberry reluctantly gave in and they set off down the hill, Fiber was almost as fast as though he was running for cover. Again and again he urged Blackberry to make haste. The fields were empty in the glare. Even creatures bigger than a blue bottle were sheltering from the heat. When they reached the outlying sheds beside the lane, Blackberry began to explain how he and Bigwig have gone back to search, but Fiber cut him short. "You must go up to the slope. I know that. But you must show me the ditch." The elms were still. There was not the least sound in the leaves. The ditch was thick with cow parsley, hemlock, and long trails of grass flowering bryony. Bryony? Blackberry had led the way to the trampled patch of needles. Fiber still among them, sniffing and looking about him in silence. Blackberry watched him in okay, kid's book. Hey, Mommy, I got a 240 IQ, but I don't know what this means. DISCONSOLATELY. This is a child's book, right? This is a kid's book. And I got 3 years of college. I don't even know what the hell that means. And I had a 4.0 grade average. Okay, a faint breath of wind stole across the fields, and a blackbird began to sing from somewhat beyond the elms. At last, Fiber began to move along the bottom of the ditch. The insects buzzed around his ears, and suddenly a little cloud of flies flew up, disturbed from a projecting stone. No, not a stone. It was a smooth and regular circular lip of the lower edge by a thin, dried thread of blood. Rabbit's blood. "The bloody hole," whispered Fiber. "The bloody hole." He peered into the dark opening, and it was blocked by a rabbit. It was plain to be smelled. A rabbit whose faint pulse could be heard, magnified the confines tunnel. "Hazel?" said Fiber. Blackberry was beside him at once. "What is it, Fiber?" "Hazel's in the hole," said Fiber. "And he's alive." And there is the end of chapter 26 of Watership Down, episode Fiber Beyond. And there is your chapter. And I'm going to put this on YouTube. And we are going to see if anybody likes it or not. It should be pretty hooah. And then we will go on to the next chapter of Watership Down audiobook, done badly by me. Hooah.